So last week at the NAB show in Vegas, I saw all sorts of Apple-centric tech from the likes of Atomos, Smallrig, Tilta, Insta360, OWC, QNAP, Promise, Sonnet, LumaFusion, Blackmagic Design, and more. Take a look at my in-depth recap. So last week in Vegas, the NAB show was going on, and like every year, it's a very production-heavy show. Everything from pre-production, post-production, and everything in between. So every year, there's always new camera hardware revealed, and Blackmagic is usually at the forefront of this. They revealed a 17K camera with this massive sensor. But as an Apple user, there were a couple of things that really caught my eye. The first one, of course, is the update to the Blackmagic Camera app.
With focus was add the ability to do sort of rack focus between markers. So you'd come in, disable the autofocus, and then this new option becomes available, which is for adding focus marks. And the way it would work is you tap and add a focus mark. Tap somewhere else and add another focus mark. Tap close, add a focus mark here. Now I've got two focus marks. I can get to them either by just tapping the numbers, or if I press play, it'll play through them at a speed that you set here. So here it defaults to half a second, or you can go up to a max of 3 seconds that it will take to play between the markers. You see it goes quite slow. And there's two different modes there when playing back. So when I play through this at the moment, it's going to play from 1 to 2. And then when I press play again, back to 1.
Gotcha.
You can do a mode where instead of playing from 1, say 1, 2, 3, and then going back 1, 2, 3 again, it'll do 1, 2, 3, then 3, 2, 1. And then, you can delete the markers by tapping them individually and hitting delete, or hit the reset button up the top to delete all and start again. We have a few other new things in terms of audio monitoring. Now if you select that, you can choose, for instance, if you've got different headphones or whatever attached for audio monitoring, you can actually monitor the audio now with earbuds or other options.
You have an Android, and that version is going to come out when?
Don't have definitive time I can say on that, but it's working pretty well already, and there's a lot in there. Hopefully soon.
It's 2 different code bases, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and the tricky thing is all the different models across Android have so many different features and stuff. So we're starting with these 2 models that we're showing here.
Gotcha.
Now, the second thing that caught my eye was the Blackmagic Micro Color Panel. So this is designed to work alongside your iPad Pro. It actually has a little slot in it to sit your iPad Pro in. It connects via either USB-C or Bluetooth, and it provides a much faster workflow for DaVinci Resolve Studio users than just with using a keyboard and mouse, for instance. It features 3 high-resolution trackballs, 12 control knobs, and several buttons to adjust various color parameters. So at just over $500, this thing is significantly cheaper than the next step up in Blackmagic Design's hardware color panel lineup. The next one is like over $2,000. So if you're already in the Apple ecosystem and you're a serious DaVinci Resolve colorist, I think this is going to appeal to you. What do you think? Let me know down below. And of course, like I always try to do, I stopped by the LumaTouch booth to check out what was the latest and greatest with LumaFusion, the best video editing application for mobile devices, full stop. I spoke with Chris Demiris, co-founder of LumaTouch. So here's what he had to say about some exciting upcoming features to LumaFusion. Check it out.
Okay, so the big new thing we have coming out this summer is our enhanced keyframing and speed ramping pack. And so we've really done a complete rethink of how to do keyframing within a touch interface. Like we always do, we really spend time making it a better touch interface. So you can do any type of animation you want. Curve paths, we have ease in and ease out. We've created a unique interface for doing ease in and out that really gives you the same kind of power that you would have from After Effects, for example, for doing amazing eases and accelerations in and out of keyframes, but with an easier user interface. As part of that, we've also allowed you to zoom in and out on the workspace so that you can work exactly on what you want to detail. And then most importantly, we've added speed ramping, which people have been asking for from day one. So you can keyframe your speed over time any way you'd like, do some really nice ramps, and get some really fun results. So that'll be an in-app purchase in the app for 20 bucks. So again, we've always been not a subscription, and so this is a great new feature that people who want can take advantage of. Like I said, that'll be available sometime later this summer. In addition, the 5.0 release that's a part of will have some free features. Added a resizable UI within the clip editor, which we didn't have before. But also we've added grids and guides to the preview. So you've got grids, you've got title safe, motion safe areas. Also added a movable horizon there, so you can set that and work with that. And just made it really easy to do more work than ever before. Now we've also been talking a little bit about what's coming after that, which is fairly soon after that we'll have another update that'll have another pack we're calling the Enhanced Layers pack. That's going to enable more tracks, and so for example, right now we have 6 tracks of 4K video. That'll enable, and that will be dependent on the device, but for example on an M2 iPad Pro, it'll allow up to 16 tracks of 4K video plus 32 tracks of audio. So pretty much any kind of edit that you want to do. And even on lower end devices, we're at least bringing it up to about 12 on most devices. Now on the lowest, the oldest ones we support, like the iPad 9th generation, 6 is still pretty much what you want to go. But we'll allow more so you can use it for graphics and titles and things like that, just not all those with video. And that new Enhanced Layers pack will also have an AI person keyer in there, so it'll do background removal on any video, regardless of whether you've done it with a green screen background, and some new, other new masking capabilities, shape-based keying and masking, being able to mask other effects, so you can do a blur on a person by doing the AI, person segmentation. So those are the 2 big things coming out this summer, and then we have lots of things in the pipeline that are coming out the rest of this year. So.
With subscriptions pretty much just going crazy, is Luma Touches is there MO or their methodology? We're just going to create good features that people are going to want to pay for.
That's what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do, with the base price of the app at $29, we try to give you an incredibly powerful video editing app that you can do most of the things you want. But then when you want the next step up, like multicam or enhanced keyframing or more layers and masking capabilities, you can buy those individually a la carte, and only the ones that you need and want to use, and still cost less than it would cost for a couple months subscription of most other apps. But you buy it once and you have it forever. And that's what we're trying to do as our model, and we hope we'll be successful, because that's the way we want to stay. We'd rather not do subscription. We'd rather let people choose what they want to buy and buy it once.
Nice. What about text-based editing and things of that nature?
That we have in the pipeline as well. We are doing speech to text, and we will have some features, that will allow text-based editing. Those are coming later. I'm not sure exactly when we'll release those, but we're also being careful about that. We love what AI can bring to the table, but we also don't want to go too far where we're taking away users' creativities. And we also are really strongly, we feel privacy is important, we feel ethical use of AI is important, so we're sort of, I'd say we're following Apple's lead in that. We're going to be cautious about it, but use AI where it makes sense. We already have the voice isolation filter, and that's become our most popular audio filter, and that's AI based as well. And so we'll have targeted use of AI as we move along.
As far as the iPhone 15 Pro, especially with all the new camera-based features, how do you plan on taking advantage of more of that?
Right. So first of all, we're already taking advantage of the new D-Log, and we have LUTs in there for that, and a nice automatic workflow. Another one we're looking at, and that's another one we're just experimenting with right now, is the new spatial video format. And we hope to have a full editing workflow that takes advantage of that. It'll initially be cuts only, because obviously you have to deal with the two views. Whenever you're doing effects, you have to be really careful about what you're doing with pixels there, because it can create quite a bit of difficulty. But I think it's fun. One of the funny little bits of statistics is we have about 13 to 20 people a day who are using Vision Pros with LumaFusion, so already, just with
Hilarious.
It being enabled on there, so that was sort of fun to see.
One of those was probably me.
Yeah, that's right. And my demos will be very simple, so
that's fine.
I'm not a good demonstrator, but it'll at least give you a little. All right, get that off there. So we'll just start with a clip here. We get it cut a little bit. Bring that in. All right, so the first thing we have is the enhanced keyframing. So, you know, we've always had simple keyframing in here. We set a start point. Well, we'll go the other way. We'll have it come down this way. So there we have a nice linear path, of course. But now we want to get a curve path. So we've done a nice curve editor in here, where you can quickly get into it. If you're between keyframes, you can do both, you know, handles on either side of it, so you can get exactly the curve you want. We've done sort of an interesting thing to get back to linear. We have snap points. So you just snap back to here, snap back to that point, and you get back to a linear instead of having to have a switch or something to do it. We've tried to, you know, we've worked really hard on finding an interface that works really cleanly, you know, on that. Now, when you want to do the ease editing, come in here, and we have these interesting little sliders here. And what they are is basically the ease slider to basically control the. You can do the ease out of one keyframe, or have it, you know, or have it accelerate, and the ease of the other keyframe. And you can see that, you know, both your dots are moving, and you have a full velocity graph here. You can also switch to a value graph if that sort of fits your model a little better to see how the value changes over time. We also have holds between keyframes, so I can have.
So I was just trying to do that the other day.
Right, and it used to be harder to do. Now you can have a hold where it'll just sit there.
Nice.
And then right when you hit that point, it will pop to that frame. Some of the other things we have in here. So because you're going to be working in more detail, and you might be working off screen with some of this stuff, we added the zoom navigator in here. So now you have a much larger workspace that you can work within. And so, you know, when I'm off screen here, I can actually get to that and position it exactly where I want to come in, how I want it to work with it. So that's a nice way to quickly get around. Then you can quickly reset and get back to what you need on that. All right, and then of course, and that'll work with any, you know, obviously it works with positioning parameters. Well, that's one thing I always forget to tell people. We've also added the ability now to unlink position, rotation, and scale, so you can animate them independently. Nice. So yeah, so that's obviously when you want to do a rotation while it's moving, really hard to do when those are all keyed together. And so we've done that. We'll also have a whole bunch of, let me turn off the preview, whole bunch of new motion presets. So if you just want to quickly get, you know, something fun and interesting, you can do that, get exactly the result that you want off of that. And then the next thing, of course, is the speed ramping, and I'll just do a different clip for that one so that you can see it in action a little bit. Let me see if I have one that has a little better action on it. Okay, we'll do the water one there. That might be better. Yeah. Bring in a few seconds of that. All right, so the speed editor looks the same as it always looked, but, you know, of course, now you have the full keyframing capability in there, which we didn't have before. So we'll create a keyframe here. Nice. We'll go at 100%, then we'll bring it down. Well, we'll keep it at 100% there, then have it quickly drop down to, you know, slow-mo. Stay there for a little while, and then come back up to 100%. And if we now play it back. Some days I can use my app, some days I can't.
I was literally just looking for that feature and realizing it wasn't there.
It wasn't there, yeah. And another thing we had before was it was really hard to do a freeze frame, so that's right in the interface now. Nice. Well, right here you can just do a quick freeze frame and freeze on any frame and then come back out of it. So we've really enhanced that, and that'll continue to improve. There's some other things we want to do there. What we don't have, just so you'll know right now, is frame interpolation. So if you only capture it like 30 frames per second and slow it down, it's going to be, you know, steppy. Yeah. So, but we will improve that later. But so we always recommend to our users, you know, anything you would think you're going to do slow-mo, capture at 120 or 240 frames per second.
I also spoke to Prismatic CEO Abe Feinberg to talk about his upcoming suite of applications. So there's Lightwave Charts, which should be shipping soon, Lightwave Interactive, and Lightwave Scribe. Lightwave Charts sounds really cool because I'm always looking for an easier way to make charts for my videos, but what I was really into was Lightwave Scribe, which is sort of like a storyboard for your videos, but you can actually use that storyboard as your video if you choose to do so, or you can use it as sort of a scripting or a shot list. That's the kind of the way I saw it. So as a mobile creator, it's definitely something I plan on keeping my eye on. Check out my interview with Abe.
So I'm Abe Feinberg. I'm the CEO of the Prismatic company. We're an early stage startup making a platform called Lightweave. So currently we have 3 different apps that we're working on, which I'll run through real quick and then we can dive into more detail. We got, one of them is Lightweave Charts, Lightweave Interactive, and then Lightweave Scribe. Lightweave Charts is what we're targeting for a May launch. The reason we're working on this one first is because this is for making animated charts on a mobile device. So if you've ever seen like election charts on like CNN, I didn't realize how much animation was in them, and then until recently, but they have a lot of dynamics going on. And of course you can use it for a lot of other reasons. You can pop your data in here, get a really great looking chart very easily. Lightweave Interactive is our interactive video maker. So the idea is it's kind of a choose your own path in the video. So you can make a video where the viewer can say, if you're a storyteller, for example, the viewer can say, what should the character do next? And so this, you'll be able to make videos that actually do this, where it'll stop, ask the student a question. If it seems like they're kind of confused, you can branch and go in a different direction in the video. And that app will have both a really simple editor, if you just want to jump in and make something pretty easy, but also an advanced node-based editor, so you can do really interesting things with looping video and branching video. So then our third app that we're especially excited about is called Lightweave Scribe. And how this works is, let me actually give a little context first. One of our philosophies as a company is that a creator should be able to work in a workflow that's very natural to them, but at the same time get very professional results and get results that can scale. One of the things that starts to kill you as the creator is needing to manage and update a portfolio at scale. So you've got a lot of different formats, you have to do different aspect ratios for your videos. Someone's telling you should also have the same content in a blog format, maybe as a podcast, and just trying to build out all these things is hard enough, much less now you may need to make a change. And maybe that change is something as simple as, editing a logo, changing the color of your logo, but it's in 200 YouTube videos. So how can you do this in a way where you can just change it in one place and have it update everywhere? So with all that kind of philosophy in mind, one of the places where we're implementing this is in Lightweave Scribe. The idea is that when you're making a video, a very natural process for you is to actually start by writing. So you, instead of jumping right in and recording and then maybe saying, oh, I recorded the wrong thing, you plan out your video. It could be an outline, it could be a draft script. If you're working in the film industry, you might be working on a screenplay. And when you do this, you normally mark up your script or your outline or your screenplay with some things like saying, this is what the audience is going to see, this is what they're going to hear. And I need footage of a particular thing here. Like the example I'll show in a minute, I need footage of cherry blossoms. And you indicate all this, and that's all planning. And then once you're done with the planning, you go on to actually make the thing. Instead of having a clear line between I'm planning the thing and now I'm going on to make the thing and I'm kind of locked in now because I'm making it, I'm producing it, what if writing down your ideas right from the start is already making the video for you? So you're not having a clear line where you go past that and now you can't change things. And also you're getting a result right from the beginning. So the idea again is that you create your video by writing. So on the left-hand side, you're going to write your script or your outline, and just like you would format in bold or italics, you're formatting to say this is what you hear, this is what you see, I want to insert an image or some video here. The video in this example is somebody who gives cherry blossom tours in Seoul, Korea, and they've decided that they're going to change their price. Normally, if you record a video and you write the number 50 in it, and then you write the number 50 on your blog and you write the number 50 in a bunch of different places in social media, it's just meaningless data as far as the system, as far as the platform is concerned. What we're doing here is saying, hey, that data, that fragment of data that component has some meaning, it has an intent. You as the creator are saying, this is my price, this is the cost of my tours, and everywhere where that exists should be connected and should have that same meaning. So when you go to update it in one place, which is what you see the person doing here, it should say, hey, this actually is going to affect a bunch of different places. Would you like to have help updating all of it? And doing that in a way that doesn't absolutely kill you as the creator, but you can actually manage that change and do it across a bunch of different media types and platforms.
So I also spoke with Jim Tierney from Digital Anarchy to talk about the latest version of Beauty Box, which is sort of like digital makeup for desktop NLEs. And you can do all this without manually keyframing. There's a really cool new teeth whitening feature that he's going to talk about in this interview.
So Beauty Box is a plugin that we've had around since about 2012. We're now coming up on version 6 of it. And it's a plugin for doing digital retouching, for basically doing digital makeup. And the goal of it really is to take the edge off of what video adds to people's skin. Most people are not used to being seen with like bright hot lights on them, and that tends to bring out just like all of the details. And we don't really want to see all of the details. So it's really designed to solve that problem, and it works. The basic workflow is you click on Analyze Frame. We're going to use AI face detection to figure out what the skin tones are, and that's going to build an automatic mask that will travel throughout the footage. So basically the idea is you set it up on one frame, and then as long as your lighting doesn't change, you don't have to do anything else. This mask follows the subject throughout the video footage. And so that's kind of the basic functionality of Beauty Box that's been in there for a while. I'm actually going to increase this a little bit, make it a little bit more obvious. And you can see the before and after. And we're not totally sandblasting her face. We're still trying to keep some of the skin detail, but we're really just kind of adding a layer of foundation, right? But the big new feature that we're talking about is the ability to do teeth whitening. So we've used AI in Beauty Box since the first version for the face detection for identifying the skin tones. But what's new is we're now using it to identify where the mouth is, and this lets us build a mask just for the teeth. And so the way that works is we know where the mouth is. You kind of have to help it out a little bit by selecting a skin tone, or the kind of the teeth color. And so we're just doing a color sample. And now we can start adjusting the brightness. Kind of increase the white values a little bit. We can increase the whiteness by reducing some of the yellow that's on the teeth. We'll do that. And now we can see what the end result is. Now the before, the after, before, after. And you can do a few other things like feather the mouth mask, because in some cases you can get aliasing like around the edges, and the feathering kind of deals with that problem. And it's going to render that out on each frame, and you don't have to go frame by frame to make adjustments. You don't have to set keyframes. It just kind of works.
So Promise teased its upcoming Pegasus M8 RAID direct attached storage system. Now this Thunderbolt 5 enabled enclosure doubles the throughput of Thunderbolt 4 up to 64 gigabits per second, and features combined data and video bandwidth up to 120 gigabits per second for video intensive use. It supports connecting multiple 4K, 5K, 6K, 8K monitors, plus it features a sizable boost in charging capability. Now, the unit features 8 NVMe SSDs that support various RAID types to balance performance and redundancy according to the end user's needs. And as you can see, it's available in a compact and highly portable system with a handy little strap on top for moving it about. So on the rear, you can clearly see it has 4 Thunderbolt 5 ports, so you can connect multiple monitors, other Thunderbolt devices, daisy chain, etc. Now, Thunderbolt 5 is already certified, but there are currently no Macs with Thunderbolt 5 available. Promise says that its enclosure should be available closer to the end of this year or early next year, but of course, a lot of that will depend on when Apple decides to ship hardware with Thunderbolt 5 in tow. Now, for me, no NAB would ever be complete without stopping by the Sonnet booth to check out what's new from Sonnet Technologies. They make awesome Mac hardware, and this year, it's no exception. So I was able to see firsthand the new Echo II DV module, which is a 2-slot Thunderbolt to PCIe card expansion module, and it features 2 separate Thunderbolt connections that can go to 2 different Thunderbolt buses on your computer for bandwidth-hungry I/O. And again, this is all in one single enclosure. The cool thing about these modules, of course, is that they work in various configurations. So you can add it to an XMac Studio, for instance, or a dual Moto enclosure, or to Sonnet's own Echo rack mount system. So again, these 2 slots support 2 full-height, full-length PCIe cards, each at full bandwidth, and this will support basically every single Thunderbolt-compatible non-GPU expansion card out there. So if you have an external expansion setup that's currently bandwidth constrained, then this may be the perfect setup for you. So late last year, QNAP released the all-flash TBS H574TX Nasbook, an all-flash storage device that's really built for video workflows. So this features 5 E1.S/M2 NVMe SSD drive bays, and these are all hot swappable. And although this includes both 10 gigabit Ethernet and 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, it's not just a NAS, it's actually a direct attached storage device as well for quick cuts right there on the fly, and it features 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports for just that. So for a small team, this is a very well-rounded device that can handle pretty much any sort of production workflow. Here's my brief chit chat with QNAP.
Hi, my name is Thunderbolt. I'm the product manager with QNAP, and today we are looking at our new TBS H574TX. It's a Thunderbolt 4 compact NAS for on-site editing or something that you can put next to your desk and edit off of that directly. It has 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports right here. It has 5 E.1 or M.2 SSDs that you can put in, and you can RAID 5 them to RAID 5 or RAID 6 them. Has 1 Thunderbolt port in the front and one Thunderbolt port in the back, and it also accepts 10 GB connection, also 2.5 GB connection. So you can have it on the network, and you can also connect it directly as well. So you can edit off of that directly if you want something on-site editing. It's a very compact NAS. You can put it on DIT card. You can power them up with maybe a battery backup. So in case if you have a DIT card and you have a battery on there, it does not take that much power since it's SSD only. And basically just have it next to your desk, or it also does not make that much of a noise as well. So it's a great small device that we are releasing this year.
What's the maximum capacity?
Maximum capacity right now is 7.68 terabytes on each bay. So, and you can RAID 5 them together, so about 20, 30 terabytes, 20 to 30 terabytes of capacity that you can have. And the actual operating system can actually go to 5 petabytes, so you don't have to worry about capacity. It's limited by the drive size right now, rather than the capacity of the actual NAS, right here. So 2 fans, DC input, 10 GB, and 10 GB, 10 GB, 2.5 GB, has HDMI port as well. And you can connect a monitor like this one is connected right here. So you can look at the interface of the NAS, or you can quickly access some data if you wanted to as well. Again, on a DIT card, if you have a monitor, you can plug it in and you can access the data as well over there as well.
So having 2 computers connected at the same time, are they able to access the same files?
Oh yeah. Well, depends upon the software, right?
Right.
Either they can do they can access different data, because it's a shared device, right? So you can access different data. If they're accessing the same file, it's depending upon the software. Some softwares don't like that, so you may have to wait until the first person is done, the other one takes over. Basically, having 2 computers, they can work on 2 different projects. So if one of them is doing color correction, the other one can work on audio, something like that as well. So post-production has many departments, right? So you don't have to, without a NAS, you have to take the hard drive, copy your data, give it to the second person. Instead of that, have them log into the QNAP and just work on them together. Has enough speed. The speed writes for these are 1600 megabytes of read and write. So enough capacity for having multiple 4K, even 8K editing as well off of this device.
So stopping by the OWC booth, I was able to get my first look at the OWC Thunderblade X8. And this thing is crazy because it's the first one that features up to 8 NVMe SSDs in a single enclosure for up to 32 terabytes of storage in a single Thunderblade, which is insane, right? I also got a look at the Express 1M2, which is a super fast USB 4 NVMe SSD with up to 8 terabytes of storage. Here's my chit chat with OWC.
Envoy, this is a USB-C, and this goes up to 2 terabytes in this form factor. 2 terabyte stick as well. This has the USB-C connector. It also has a USB-A, so both ways with it. And then our Electron is kind of the same family as these. This one's IP67 rated, so it's dust-proof, crush-proof, waterproof. This goes up to 4 terabytes. Perfect for it. This one's also IP67 rated. This one's Thunderbolt 3, so with increased speeds. But you pick it up, it's rock solid as the Electron there. So.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, we just released the Type A cards this week. They comes with the adapter, so you plug that in, so you plug it into a reader.
So Insta360 actually launched its new X4 360-degree 8K camera at NAB, and they were actually selling it on the showroom floor. I think it retails for about $500. And to be honest, the main reason why I included it in this video is just because I'm interested to see how the footage translates to the Apple Vision Pro, whether or not it works with the Apple Vision Pro, and that's my main reason for including it in this video. Hopefully I'll be able to try it out, but I just thought it was cool. It's a cool, well-designed camera. The hardware looks really cool, and I wasn't able to really play with it too much at the show, but hopefully I'm able to get my hands on this so I can test it out with the Vision Pro. If you have any experience with Insta360, let me know down below in the comments section what you think about the company and its products in general. Tilta Khronos is an entire ecosystem for iPhone 15 Pro videography. So it comes with a main case, which serves as a cage for your iPhone, and then all sorts of modular accessories can attach directly to that cage. Things like wooden handles, a cooling system even, there's an SSD holder, quick release USB-C hub, quick release filter tray and corresponding ND filters, and more. So this combined with something like the Blackmagic Camera app makes for a fairly potent solution for videographers. And on that same note, Smallrig also has their mobile video kit for iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is a co-design edition, which is a collaboration with Brandon Lee. But as you can see, the premise is very much the same, a modular system which you can easily adjust. So Smallrig was able to show me how this works. So let's take a look.
As Bluetooth, here you can shoot as removable. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
So you can put a light up there instead if you want.
Press the button as up and down. Yeah. And it's rotatable.
Yeah.
For any angle shooting. Yeah.
So did I see a drive in this or a battery? Is it?
Yeah, this one. There's an SSD in it. Yeah.
Gotcha. So when is this available?
Maybe 1 or 2 months later, I think. This one, it can become a top handle.
How long the bottom?
Yeah, it's
Very
a top handle.
Nice.
30 or 1 hour? Yeah.
Nice.
1 hour or 2 hours? 1 hour.
So one of the products that I was most impressed with that I didn't think I would be very impressed with was the Atomos Ninja phone. Now this thing has gotten a little bit of pushback because it only records 1080p to your iPhone, whereas you know everyone wants 4K these days, and understandably so. Atomos Ninja has been able to record 4K. There's an 8K capable version of the Atomos Ninja as well that can record 8K video. So it's like 1080p feels like a few steps back. But when you actually look at the Ninja phone, the iPhone is a way better display than any Atomos product that we've seen, any display in any Atomos product that we've seen. The contrast ratio, the HDR capabilities, it's just far and away a better monitor. So separate from the recording aspect, just looking at it as a monitor is pretty incredible. When you start to look at the HDR capabilities of the iPhone's display, the contrast ratio, everything just sort of pops as you're monitoring. And it's also good to be able to acquire focus. You can even pinch to zoom directly on the display, which is something you couldn't do on the Atomos monitors. You had to actually just tap in to zoom in and zoom out, which is kind of clunky. But to be able to pinch to zoom right there on the iPhone's display when you're recording from something like a Sony FX30 or FX3, it's just pretty awesome. So we had a nice little walkthrough of the Atomos software that runs alongside the Atomos Ninja phone. So let's take a look at what Atomos was able to show us.
This is Ninja phone is this part, okay? And there's a case, and then you put the phone into the case. And then once you turn this, you have all these monitoring tools.
Like false color.
False color, vector scopes. Yeah. I like this vector scope. Different ones.
So basically Atomos.
Oh, look at this one. I didn't know these ones. Oh, look at this. This one I know. That one is also very cool.
What about, can you zoom in on that?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice.
really-
You can't do that on the Atomos.
Of course. You can do it in the...
You gotta press a little button, you know, like the
Yeah.
1 and 2 button.
And then you press here. Then you can go there to Instagram, YouTube. Then is the files, you will access to the files or the settings. I mean, this is work in progress. I mean, this is not the final product. That will be in June.
June? Okay.
Especially when you let's focus the camera.
The light, it's HDR, like it's
Yeah. The highlights and the low lights and the highlights.
Yeah.
Get it covered. See? This will charge, or you will get like the battery. So you can put here a battery, a Sony battery.
Okay.
And then you will not run. This is like the power source.
So NAB was, like every year, amazing. It's my favorite trade show of the year. There's so many different Apple adjacent products that I think you guys are gonna like. Especially am I looking forward to trying that Blackmagic Camera app update. I'm actually planning on doing a very in-depth walkthrough about the Blackmagic Camera app. So if that's something you would look forward to, please let me know down below, leave a thumbs up. And also we're gonna cover all the other products as well. Thunderbolt 5, of course, is coming in the future. The Atomos Ninja phone, the Tilta Khronos. There's so much to cover, and we will have it all for you right here on 9 to 5 Mac. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out these other videos that you may find interesting as well. I'm Jeff Benjamin with 9 to 5 Mac. I'll catch you in the next one.